What's good, Tally Rod? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate that. Can you guys hear me okay? My headset? Dope, thank you. What's up, Arson Fist? Thanks for coming through. Let me try and get Paul on here. Yo, what's going on, Paul?
Hey, what's going on there, LV? Long time.
Thank you.
Long time coming.
Yes, man. Several weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for making it. I appreciate that.
Well, first and foremost, it's an honor that you chose me. I really do appreciate that very much so. So shout out to LV. Shout out to the Art of Rhyming. It's all love here, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. No, man, it's a two-way street, man. I appreciate you reaching out, because if you didn't reach out, I wouldn't have caught on to your dope, original, unique music and craft, man. So I'm thankful for that, A lot of the times, like, the more I do this show, I'm on my 9th episode, I might be inclined to, to pick someone with more followers or this and that, but it really isn't about that. I got to stay true to what I'm doing and be like, I got to pick the most authentic, worthy shit, you know what I mean? And talk to the right people. So that's why you're here, bro. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that compliment. So just being around and listening and watching your podcast, you have a lot of great questions. You're very enthusiastic when it comes to music. I watch it. I watch your stories all the time, and you're a music connoisseur. So that's what I respect. So I'm always down to have an interview with you, and to not just only interview, but talk shop. That's what we call it. Yeah,
man. I mean, at this point in life, I'm not around that many artists on a day-to-day basis, so it's a pleasure for me to talk to people like yourself, compare my passion for the music with yours, man, and you're really out there doing it and grinding, right? So it's an honor for me as well. You know what I mean? So yeah. So you told me you're in a studio with one of the biggest producers in Texas. Is that right?
He's not one of the biggest producers in Texas. He is the biggest producer in Texas. He has the greatest sound. I'm over here, in my opinion,
Right.
In my opinion, for sure. He is my main producer. He's my main, engineer, music consultant.
Wow.
Taught me how to enunciate.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be in this position without Originate is the name. He gave me my sound.
Wow.
He's still working. Yeah, we're always in the lab.
Breaking up a bit.
So I wouldn't have done that without him. I got mad love for that, and we're doing it right now.
Right.
Creating something fresh. So it's all love.
That's dope. So you told me you had some performances over the last couple of days. Is that right?
Yes, I certainly did. I was, I performed Power Bomb, by the, one of the greatest beat makers in the world, my brother, you know what I mean? But related beats, Voice Winston.
I love that beat, man. I love it, bro. Classic, but the way you jumped on it, it's like you flipped it in an unexpected way. So, but sorry, go ahead.
All right. Well, yeah, I performed over there in Dallas, which was a great show. A really great show. A lot of people came. Sunday dinner. The whole 40 acres. Everyone came through, and so you could feel the energy. And when I Yeah, and I haven't performed in I say about like 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And yeah. So to have to come up there and just be myself was the best option.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's with a good sense of humor and good and great enthusiasm. One thing about
Right.
my performances I can say is I try my best to have a lot of energy, and
Yeah.
the way that I make my songs, or the way that I let it all out, is the fact that I use a lot of energy. So to
Yeah.
pace that out is the main key, which I've learned when I went to Austin at Flamingo Cantina. And, so I'm running out. Things are going on. A lot of distractions, this and this. So the
Yeah.
best thing to do, like with a guy like me having ADHD or just being very perceptive of things, is to
Right.
just stay focused on while I'm there on the stage.
Yeah.
It was a pretty bad performance in my opinion, but it taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson, and the
What's
lesson,
that? What's the
oh,
lesson?
the lesson is don't give up. Number one, two,
Yeah.
it lit a fire up my ass, is what Nate would say, and to show motherfuckers what the deal is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
and that's the goal. So players fuck up. Michael Jordan missed a shot at 3 seconds left a few times.
Yeah.
So
Bro,
yeah.
I just want to stop and say this is why you're here, and this is why your music is masterful. Take away the activity, and
Yeah.
your last album, Turnbuckle Tale, which to me is a classic already.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's not about how recent it was. It's about your work. But the thing that's brilliant about your work is how honest you are, as honest as you are right now, sitting here talking about your performance. You know what I'm saying? If you weren't that honest, your music wouldn't be what it is. I've never heard anything like it personally. So, but sorry, go ahead. If
No,
I cut you off.
you did not cut me off at all. I can feel the chemistry right now. Yeah, honesty is key, number one, and not at all. So that's my main thing. I have to be.
Yeah.
It's just a part of my nature.
Yeah.
Even if it makes me look bad. So, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Is it a kind of thing that you just have to let it out, or else it'll just bottle up in you, and you just gotta let it go? Is that what it is, or how would you describe? I mean, we'll get into it, man. I got so many talking points for this interview. I listened to all your music. Well, not all your music, pretty much all of it. But
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No. Please continue. That was. Well, again, it is where I have to release those kind of emotions, especially on stage.
Yeah.
Behind the mask, which I basically had to understand that that's what the people want too, and
Yeah.
you have to have that. It seemed like I had to play this role with this mask. The mask is a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can, I put the mask on and I explode, or it gets too hot, or the pressure sinks in, and I'm realizing that I'm doing it for the show, not doing it for the flow.
Right.
So
Right.
sitting back and watching the other fantastic artists that performed that night, it made me realize that, not only I am one of those, but it's time to really come out with some content that is true to myself.
Mm-hmm.
That was true to myself. All that has been true to myself.
Yeah.
But to accept that this is me unapologetically.
Well, I got the impression you were, although we're going to dive into some of your quotes, and I'm going to ask you to what degree that they're true versus, a little bit, embellishing or whatever.
Yeah.
But that it's very hard to do, man. I've opened the Pandora's box with music many times. I know how hard it is. So I can appreciate the challenge you're facing, you know what I'm saying? So I commend you for stepping forward, first of all. It's not easy. For anyone that's not a MC, the things that come out of your mouth, man, it's powerful shit. It can be, it's a lot of responsibility sometimes. So to just open your mouth and say whatever you want, it takes a lot of courage. So hats off.
Thank you so much. Hey, thanks, Alvy. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
So I was expecting you to wear the mask, because I thought you said he had ordered a mask, but it sounds like you had some revelation in the last couple of days that is it time to take off the mask? Is that the revelation as of the performance, or what happened?
Well, again, it was a revelation that, I could use it for show, for here and there, but true me is what people need. And that was me before, too. Okay?
Yeah.
But, there's all types of me's in general.
Yeah.
To answer your question more sophisticatedly, it's just time to bring them bars out.
Gotcha.
And that's why I'm here at A1 Sound.
Right.
To come over here to bring these bars out.
Bro, bars or music, like, I consider your shit not just bars, music, man. Whatever you're doing, I'm looking forward to hear the next iteration of you, So, I'm looking forward to the next drop, bro. Whatever you got. So yeah. So with all that said, let me tell you some of the things that I love about your music. Let's get the show started properly. You know what I mean? Give you your due respect. And I also want to tell you the mind frame I went through as I discovered your music. It's probably the most insightful shit I could tell you. So I thought it'd be interesting to bring you into my mind. So, first of all, I felt if I didn't interview an artist like you, I might miss the chance, because I don't think artists like you come around that often that are that vulnerable, raw, emotional, funny, all of the above. And you're a different style on every beat, bro, and not just on Turnbuckle Tales. Like first of all, let's talk about how Powerbomb. You sent it to me, right? Yeah. I watched that fucking video 30 times in a row, bro. I'm not even joking. Because I was just mesmerized by your energy and fucking the way you're playing with words, how unfiltered you were. Like, I literally watched it 30 times in a row, and I made the quick decision. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to interview him, barely listening to anything else. So I want to start with that, all right? Yeah. But then, as I went through Turnbuckle Tales, like, every track had a different style to it, and it was catchy, and it was sounded modern too. It wasn't just boom bap like you might have expected if you just heard Powerbomb. Like, you got dope hooks and all that stuff, and you talk about enunciation at the opening here. I think you're a master at enunciation, man. You sound like you're voice acting, basically, like you're putting on characters, bro. Like, do you do you said you do like commercials or voiceover stuff in your lyrics? Is that true?
No. It's no, it's not true. It was a side joke. It was a satire joke. I am getting into that. I would like to get into that, but it was a side joke saying, God, you know the phrase, God don't like ugly. You know what I mean? So it's just a pun at myself. I like to make fun of myself from time to time. God don't like ugly, so I stick to voice acting. You know.
That's one of the bars I was going to ask you. Fact or fiction? So that one was fiction. Okay, but I got
fiction
you.
It is. Fiction.
Gotcha.
Fiction it is. Alvy. I had to just to retort. I want to say, I appreciate you actually taking the time out to listen to the lyrics. Yeah. Because of one thing, when you use a certain particular voice like I have for the past 5-6 years,
right?
People look over the bars. Like I said, I believe in the idiot box too. Way over your head, you didn't catch shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Way over your head, you didn't catch shit, but you didn't catch shit. Yeah. So, and I think that is also a gift and a curse. So, what me and Nate and Bud, Bud related beats, voice, we're all in this team together to formulate, a good tone, which is working out just fine. And it's been going on. Oh yeah.
So I'll add to that. One of the things that's exciting about listening to your music, and I literally use the word exciting, which I don't use very often in rap music anymore. Like, it hasn't been since, like I've said it, Eminem or Action Bronson, where you don't know what they're going to say next with their crazy references. Yeah. That you're looking forward, like, what is this dude, what's going to come out of his mouth? I haven't felt like that listening to rap music in a very long time. So that's another thing. And I'll give you an honest thing as well. One day I woke up And I'm listening to your music, and I'm like, shit, is this really that good? For a second, like I listened to your opening track, I'm like, this is so out there. And then I'm like, 15 minutes, I'm like, no, this is the shit. This is the shit. I made the right decision interviewing him. That's how on the edge your music is, bro. So, but it's brilliant, man. So, sorry, go ahead. I'm cutting you off now.
No, you're not. I said thank you so much. That's an awesome compliment. Because I know your honesty too, Alv. I've seen you shit on artists as well. You okay? So I know you're telling the truth.
Right. Try not to. So why don't you take us? I'm interested in the person behind the music as much as I am in the music. Again, I'm fascinated by your music, but I'm fascinated to learn more about you as a person.
Thank you.
So you're one of, like, is it 6 siblings? Is that right?
Actually, if you add 2 more, that'll be 8. I had a I am Paul the Fifth. So I have you know, I'm Paul the Fifth, and I have all my brothers are named Paul.
Right.
We all have the same name, Paul. It came from my father and my grandfather after that, who was a legislator for St. Croix Virgin Islands.
Okay. Right.
Mm-hmm. He also owned a newspaper company called the West End News. So he was very known. He currently he has his own stadium there, Paul E. Joseph Stadium, which you can catch at, yes, down in St. Frederickstead, you know. So shout out to my Cruzians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was in the Virgin Islands, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
And that's where you get your reggae influence as well? Because when we go back to your older mixtapes, I guess, Idiot Box 1, Idiot Box 2, you might break out in a reggae rap out of nowhere. So that's where that influence comes from?
Well, it certainly does play a part. If you go back to, I say, 2008, but, you know, you will see I had an album with Iggy the Silly Mom. AKA, shout out to Yaga Saga Raga. Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Shout out to my boy, Voice Winston. Yeah. You know, we came out with Music and Pizza. And we sat down on the table, we wrote all those tracks and just, you know, order pizza. So it was just our code, you know? Yeah. And we came out with it, and, you know, it just brought me back to those roots, but it was Bob Marley and the Wailers. Right. It was, you know, Shabba Ranks, believe it or not.
Shabba.
Shabba.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, Shabba.
Yeah.
Shabba. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was all love over there. You know, and there were goofy tracks. You know, in general, satire. A lot of them were satire. But towards the end of the album, it was, you know, straight, you know, kind of urbanish. We used a lot of Alchemist beats. So I knew what I could do both. You know, I can go both out. You know, not both ways.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I hear you. Pause. You want to throw in a pause?
Yeah, pause. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Not like there's anything wrong with that.
All right, resume. You can resume now. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic experience. You know, it just taught me to be comfortable in terms of my voice. Yeah. You know, so that was the beauty of it.
Your voice is your biggest asset, man. One of them, in my opinion. We're gonna get into your craft in depth if you have the time.
Definitely.
But wanted to circle back. One of the things that struck me is you told me you're in a military family and you moved a lot.
Yes.
You moved to a lot of cities. Can you give the people listening, and by the way, you have some pretty big fans here. Nair's Ben, she's loving you. So can you tell us, like, how many cities you jumped to, what cities? Because I lived on the same street for the first 30 years of my life, bro. I'm one of those people. So I'm fascinated by moving around that much. So can you let us know all the cities you've lived in?
Wow. Big, you know. Woo! I lived in Germany. I lived in New York. I lived in Baltimore. I lived in Colorado.
Shit.
I lived in Texas. You know, I lived in California. I lived in Montana. Oh my gosh. Florida for a little bit. Georgia. All states, you know, let's go cities. Let's go cities in particular, you know. Greens. Baltimore,
Holy
Denver,
cow.
Missoula, San Francisco,
Holy shit.
Richmond, Oakland, El Paso, Fort Worth, Dallas, you know what I'm saying? The whole nine.
Holy
You know what I'm
cow.
saying? My yum, San Diego. San
What?
Diego.
So how long were you staying in one place for? Like a couple months?
No, Alvy, I had to cut the music. I had to cut the music real quick.
Go.
Hold on, man. Sacramento.
Fuck.
Fuck Sacramento. That's all I had to say.
Right. So how long you stayed? A couple months in each place? Is that it?
No, some will be years, some will be months. I remember those days, becoming close to friends, and feeling like I have some. I'm starting to just get my niche and find a place, and I have to move, the moves wasn't just like, oh, it's a fantastic move, like It was, I remember those days going to a different city, and we got 6 people living in a Motel 8 room, for months on end, and just to go into a 2-bedroom apartment, low status. And I remember when we was at least somewhat middle class, so I was fortunate to have both parents. There's some, and they were very well educated on society, and also gave us some kind of spirit and root. And I appreciate that. But moving around in those different cities, it was hard to make friends or hard to sustain friends. And people are not fond of strangers. They get a preconceived notion from you, and I'm genuine as hell. I make my mistakes, but I'm the most genuine person you can meet, soft-hearted as hell. And, so right now, thank God for social media, because I'm able to at least keep contact through those. Like, Serena, what up? Serena, like, what up?
Yeah.
What up, fam?
So with that said, you got some influences, like Voice Winston, who you work with, right?
Yeah.
And I apologize. You're working with what producer at the moment right now? Whose studio are you at?
His name is Originate. Okay. Hey, no photos, please.
So.
Okay. I work with Nate for sure.
So where'd you meet all these people? Different cities? You kind of collected people you work with?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I met. I remember it was the first day I came to California where I met Voice. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was 18. And I'm gonna tell you the story because it's pretty raw. So it's Claudia, don't kill me. Who's Voice's wife. You know what I'm saying? But so I go there. We're like, yeah, man, we're gonna, we got this meeting, and then after that, we're gonna go kick it, and this girl's down to show us some tits. Oh yeah,
Right.
He made me feel comfortable. He brought me in with open arms.
Yeah.
And and then he started playing his beats, and he had this Michael Jackson sample.
Right.
And it blew me away, and I just knew we had this kind of chemistry. He knew what kind of style I liked since day one in terms of music, because a few days later we were in there with the Fruity Loops, you know what I mean? The half-hearted computer and just recording, raw cuts, getting it in, getting into the mix, and this man can, he can rap, he can sing, I can rap, I can sing. We had great vibes.
Yeah.
We had great vibes, and he always believed in me, and I always believed in him. Now, how I met Nate is a great story as well. So I'm down. I came to Texas. I was in a group, and I was on a label before Sunday Dinner, which was Hustle Hard Entertainment.
Wow. Okay.
Shout out Mike. And I had a rap partner. His name is One Mills. All right, which is one of my favorite rap partners I ever had. I mean, this man got ridiculous bars, and he's from Texas. So him and I used to, we're very competitive. We're very competitive. And so we'll sit there, and while we're making songs together, we will challenge each other.
Yeah.
And once I decided to go to the studio and find a great studio. Now, I mean, I went scoping, Alvy. I mean, I searched through the sewers. I searched through skirts. I searched the globe. Where in the world is Carmen San Diego studio? Okay?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, and so one day we find a certain one, you know, A1 studio. I come in.
ACD.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What was it? ACD studio.
ACD.
Yeah, impulsive. Yeah, audio compulsive. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, audio compulsive disorder studio.
Yeah.
And that's where I meet Originate. Now,
Okay.
now,
No, go ahead.
Thank you. And Originate, you know, he's on the boards, okay, and he's playing his music, and the man sounds like Michael Jackson, and I'm like, this man sounds like Michael Jackson. Everybody sounds like he knows. Like it was his style. It was you know, he was very he was humble.
Is Originate the one that produced Idiot Box 1?
Yes. Originate.
Okay.
Yes, he did. He did the Idiot Box 1. Okay. He did The Walls Have Ears, and he also done recently Turnbuckle Tales.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I cut you off there. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, he's the one who actually did, you know, Turnbuckle Tales. And I remember I go in the booth, right? You know, feeling all cocky, getting in there, you know. Getting in my groove. And, you know, every time I go on the mic, before I go on the mic, I do practices, you know, ow now brown cow. You know, ow now brown cow. Yeah.
That's one of your warm-ups? Got it.
That's my warm-up. You know, unique New York. You know, unique New York. You know.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing the song, right? I'm halfway in, right? He cuts it off. I was like, what do you do that for? Right? Just start over. I do it again. Cut it off again. I went out the booth. I said, what's the problem? What's the deal? He said, man, you need to learn how to enunciate.
Shit. This is when you're 18? High school?
Enunciate.
High school?
Huh?
This was high school?
No, this is right after culinary arts school.
Okay.
You know, around 2008.
Okay, got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, 2008. And so,
maybe 22.
You know, so I'm over here, you know, I'm in the studio just becoming frustrated, but I learned that lesson.
Yeah.
And since then, he will guide me. He will say, nope, not good enough. He will say, don't you say it like this? He guided me into what I am today.
I was going to ask you about your editing process, because to me, your vocal takes are like performances. And I'm very glad you just gave me that story, because I was going to ask you, how many takes does it take you to lock in on the take you want? Because you're so fluctuating in your delivery all over the place. I imagine no two takes sound alike. So is Originate the key here for locking you in and getting the right take? Enlighten me.
There will be like 30 bars within 2 takes.
Yeah.
You know,
30 cuts.
You know, 30 cuts within 2 bars.
Okay.
See?
Oh,
like,
wow.
Oh, yeah. I will do take.
So that's important to deal with.
Yeah, he's very perfectionist. He's a professional.
Right.
And he still allows room to be yourself. And I think that you know, coming back from that devastating wrestling match I had down there in Austin. You're right. I took an L. I took a powerbomb through the table.
They turned heel on.
They turned heel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The crowd turned heel. And so I'm over here like, oh man, what am I going to do? I came back. My head was low. My head was so low. And coming here, and he told me something. He said, you know who you are.
Yeah.
You know who you are. You know what it takes. Don't let anyone stop you, or make you feel as if, they must have forgot. Shout out to your daddy, though. Shout out to my boy, Enjoy the Vision.
Bro, I'm going to give you a word of encouragement, okay? Just me, the dude sitting in Toronto. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Your fucking music, I'm just sitting and like, if there was one dude I could wish had whatever people he needs around him to channel that fucking energy and go make millions of dollars with, bro. Because like, when you're fucking on, you're on, bro. I just want you to know that coming from me, man. Like I've been listening to rap since I was 6, fucking 30 fucking 4 years. I've never heard anything like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So please continue. That's it. I just want to say that. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I certainly am. You know, and better than ever. I feel like I'm not even reaching the plateau. You know,
Right.
You know, I haven't even reached my plateau yet, and still just, you know, I'm still growing. And to grow takes water, and the water that is behind me is helping me grow. You know, from Yo Daddy Doe. You know what I mean? Originate. You know. Daryl McGee, you know, shout out to Enjoy the Vision. Go get a pick. You get my jig. Larry Douglas Jr., my brother, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I always, if you noticed, on a lot of my albums, I love to give my thanks. You know, I love to show my gratitude. You know, so that's my main thing. And, you know, I'm very grateful for those who believed in me and still continue to believe in me, who have a lot of vigor and know my skills, and I really do appreciate that. And I believe myself that I'm nasty too, respectfully. You know, I'm very nasty. You know,
you're not just nasty. You're a legitimate artist capable of truly creative, original things. You're not just nasty. I want you to hear that, bro.
Yeah.
So,
no, I definitely heard that.
Yeah, man. So, so this interview might go all over the place, but I got certain things I want to cover, so I might pull it back for a second. So I reached out to Voice Winston. That's what I do for these interviews. I talk to, you know, people's homies and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And actually, before I get into that, you sold mixtapes in high school. Is that right?
Yes, I definitely did. I I was always into wanting a group. You know.
Yeah.
I get, so that system, you know, that gut of, you know, that always felt fulfilled being in a group, working with a group, you know, wanting to be a part of a group. And we were called the Region Mob because we came from different areas. And, you know, and so, you know, I produced those tracks and, you know, I came up with all the songs and we would go and we would rap. And so I had this, you know, I had the CDs popping out, burnt CDs. Selling them $5 a piece, you know, $5 a piece.
Yeah. And you know, did you do good? Did you sell units or what? How did you do, truthfully?
You know, I say very well.
Wow.
As a 16, 17-year-old, you know, yearning to fulfill his dream, you know.
That's dope.
And I think I did very well. Everybody was very entertained. They called me Tall Paul at the time. You know, I called myself Tall Paul at the time. You know, and people still remember the songs. You know, they were like, "You ain't nothing but a one night stand, one night stand." You know, shit like, you know, funny stuff. You know, what I'm saying? But it was good work. You know, it was good work, and so I just started from there. But you know, that's what inspired me to know that this is real. Was the fact that regardless, this is something I love to do.
Yeah.
I sell one copy out. I'm trying to tell you, I'm happy. Not even because of the sale of the copy. It's because someone is listening.
I remember clearly my first mixtape selling one unit. You know, I remember the feeling. It's a big deal. Yeah, man, for sure. Big deal.
Platinum. You know what I mean? I went wood.
Yeah.
No, I went wood.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, as you're going through high school, you're rapping and shit, you know, I assume your energy was always respectfully all over the place to a degree. How did people perceive you as a rapper? Did they instantly like click with, oh, like, this is dope? Or was it like, did some people look at you sideways or like not get you? Even today, I wanted to ask you, I know you haven't performed in a while, you performed on the weekend. How did people respond to you with all the energy you have?
They loved it.
Why don't you answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Especially Dallas. Shout out to Dallas. They absolutely loved it. You know, just the energy of me, you know, arms welling around, you know, from me talking to the mask, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Bringing someone out the crowd and having them, say something within the mic, and I'm very personable because I want to be part of it, and I think that's what brings me joy. That's what brings me, that love. That's what also brings me anxiety, because I know once I get off that stage, I'm back to reality, and there's nothing that makes me feel like heaven when I am recording music, when I am doing features, when I'm collaborating, like it's the energy that I bring out that makes this so compelling.
No, I could see that. Sorry, I had a follow-up question. I lost my train of thought, but I talked to Voice Winston, and I asked him that same question. I'm like, how do people perceive Paul? Because even me, I had to figure out how to perceive you because I've never heard anything like you before, right? Yeah. And I was like, Young Link, one of your producers, told me that you're the self-proclaimed Larry David of rap, which we're going to get into that. So to me, I'm like, okay, this guy is a joker, right? So you could see my first post of your music. I'm like, this guy's funny, this guy's that. But when I talked to Voice Winston, he's like, hold up. I don't consider him funny. Like, this dude is talking real shit. You know what I mean? So I'm like, maybe I got to re-listen all over again and rethink this. But I had a perception issue, bro. Like, but it's amazing that your colleagues would describe your music as the real deal, real shit. So
yeah.
But go ahead.
Well, to answer that statement, the pro and con of having a particular voice, that comes from my my inspirations and just how I use my voice at times. It's a gift and a curse, because one, when you're funny, people don't take you serious,
right?
And but there'll be some very serious bars,
Chameleonaire.
Within Chameleonaire, yeah. There'll be serious bars. There'll be serious bars in there, that people overlook because of what either the mask or me performing my body wingling or how I use my voice on the record, and they miss out on the bar. Like, one example is you'll be cold too if you ate chili for a week. I
know that line very well. Yeah.
The double entendre in that,
Right.
double entendre.
I didn't even catch that. Thank you. Now I got it. Believe it or not.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's the like those bars like that, people just pass by. Like I said, another one. Like that check, that motherfucker bounced, like my dad did when stage 4 prostate cancer been announced.
Bro, that line blew my mind. I wanted to unpack. We're gonna go all over the place. I see where this interview is gonna be so random, but go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And
well, that's anything new to you.
Yeah, so it's nothing new to me. Is that like I try to do? I have as much as I have it's like the comedian mask, right? You see the one that's smiling, and then you see the one that is sad behind. My goal is to blend those two together, and those two, because it's who I am. I've been through. Shout out to Sunday Dinner Records. I like to have that feeling of my truthfulness in it, but I think the pros and con again.
Anything going to store?
I think the pros and con is when you are so enthusiastic, and when you have a particular voice that people assume that has a more jovial voice. People miss out on those bars. You see, they miss out on those bars, and that's and that's where the gift and curse comes from when it comes to satire.
So I want to ask you, do you see yourself having a challenge with how certain category of people perceive you when you're out there and they don't know how to take you? Like, is that a thing that you contend with, or?
I think, yeah, I think we all have to be mindful of perceptions, but the perceptions is not, my reality.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know, and
yeah, yeah.
and that's just the number one thing. Shout out to
Absolutely,
Nero. There's so much.
absolutely.
There's so much passion within it, and I think,
Hmm.
and being honest with yourself,
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I love me. I love what I produce. I love what I have to come up with. And
Yeah,
like me being in the studio right now, I'm challenging myself,
yeah.
and doing the best that I can right now. I mean, I got some cuts. Now. I ain't gonna tell
It,
you what it is. I'm gonna tell you nothing, Alvy. Okay, tell you
I'm
nothing.
looking. Oh, I'm looking forward to it, man. But it's a joy to live through your music because everyone has failures, but not everyone is as open as you. So it's like when I listen to your music, it's like shit. He's going there. It's a
Mhm.
different kind of ride, man. So salute to you for taking those risks, man. And I hope it pays off handsomely for you, bro. I really do. Like I see if the right things happen, man, I could see you. I don't know, being on a whole nother level personally. But
Yeah,
enough about my enthusiasm, bro. So
yeah. But to answer that, Larry David. Oh yes,
yeah,
man. Because I come with the greatest intentions and
right,
still end up with the egg on my face.
right.
You know, And so it's just like I said, my life is like a whole season of Larry David in general, a Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yeah,
come in, I put in that work. I have a lot of satire,
yeah.
art. And again, it will make people, oh, well, it's in general, it brings out that kind of action, brings out
Hmm.
that kind of comedic vibe in general. The most misunderstood person in the world, Larry David.
Are are you a comedian outside of rap, or at least among your friends? Like,
No,
or is it just in music?
no, it's just in music.
Wow,
It's only in
interesting.
music. I'm not wanting to be the, super funny guy. I could say very energetic,
Right,
very
right.
enthusiastic.
Yeah,
What you see is what you get in terms of my heart, my soul.
yeah.
I think that's what I bring out.
Gotcha. And when did you discover Larry David?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. Seinfeld, of course.
Right,
I was a big fan of Seinfeld.
right.
I was always been the one who was attracted to the quote unquote weird,
Right.
the outsiders type stuff, the
Yeah.
vibes of the outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole crew was a part of, from Jerry, all of them were
Right.
simply, out, so, something they always end up, doing something unintentionally, so that was, that's where I got a lot of that inspiration from, so watching that and watching Larry David, of course, watching Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yeah.
that's why I feel like I can relate to that. I can relate to that very much so.
Interesting. That's dope. Before I forget, where did the name Jigsaw Paul come from? Did you have a name before that?
Oh,
And where did that name come from? Did
good
you work
question.
at Jigsaw? Is it that simple?
Yeah. No. It was this one bar. I was recording the Idiot Box 2, because
Right.
I remember Dom. Yeah, Dom. Dom was the one who kind of, I could say in terms, discovered me. Shout out to Dom,
Yeah.
man, Big Supreme. We were he found me on Twitter actually, and he said, "Oh man, I need you to. I listened to the Idiot Box. I need you to make another one. You gotta make another one." You know,
Yeah.
I give him the
Right.
hell yeah. Oh, I give him the hell
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
did it, and I made a song. Too cool to keep sweat to hoe.
Right.
And I was spitting this bar, and I was like, I spit this bar. You can ask Romeo, Steve Harvey's show. He ended up with a bullet head. When I said that line in general, people were like, "What'd you say?"
Right.
You know, do I have to explain? So that's the so that's where and
Right.
that's where people, even the engineer was like, "Yo, that bar is nuts." And this was a song I had a long time ago,
Yeah.
you know. So I just pulled it out, and he was like, "Man, like this is ridiculous." And I had a name before, and it was Tall Paul, but that's
Right.
Jigsaw Paul. Jigsaw Paul is not from the movie.
Right.
Jigsaw Paul is because I do say these kind of witty bars, and people
Right.
do have to fish them out. And I think that's where, in one of my comrades mentioned that when we were in the studio, man, he's like, "Man, yo, you like a jigsaw puzzle, man. You know, you're a jigsaw puzzle.
Got it.
Jigsaw puzzle." That's where that came
Right.
about, you know.
Makes sense.
And,
It makes
yeah,
perfect sense.
Yes, sir.
Got it. So I want to get into some heavier stuff that might have shaped you as a person and the type of music you make. If you're okay with that, you let me know. You have a track called Hustle Man, right? Where you
Yes.
talk about homelessness, right?
Yes.
So if it's okay with you, can I quote a lyric from here?
Yeah.
So my family gets me, but they don't get me. No need to join the military. I already have PTSD. I went through so much shit, pig's feet. I thank God the world ain't make me into mincemeat. I was officially homeless, loathing at McD's.
Yeah.
Can we unpack that, bro? Because there's a lot of life in that, man, that I gotta get into with you. So, did you have? I guess your family wasn't supportive of you pursuing music or whatever else you were interested in. Is that the gist of it?
Yes, to be honest with you, yes, very much so. You know,
Right.
coming from the military family, that was, you know, that's where I was supposed to go, you know, but I couldn't in my right mind, you know,
Right.
not do that simply because of the fact that I love music. I
Right.
know I have it in me and it needs to come out, you know.
Right.
My emotions, you know, my thrive. Shout out to Young Link, you know what I'm saying? My thrive, I
Right.
had to do that for. Shouts out to Nate, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Wig Flipper, you know? Cop the PRNDL album, you know what I mean? Out now. Not right now, but right now, you know?
Right.
You know, Link, my dog, kisses from the heavens, man. I'm
Right.
working on, so anywho,
Shout
back
out to
to,
Link.
you know, that was my commercial break, you know, because I shout out to anybody who's going to be on here. because
That was your Idiot Box commercial coming out, right? Idiot Box.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
everybody on here, you know. I appreciate everybody who's even taking their time. You know, I love you guys. My thing is, I remember those days. You know,
Yeah.
you know, I was in Vegas, you know, or I was in Reno, and I remember those days where, you
Yeah.
know, homeless, man, and you know, no one, you know what I'm saying, no one came through, you know, loathing at Mickey D's, you know, I had to change. I knew that, yeah, I can do rap, but it came
Yeah.
a time, you know, where, you know, I had to put that on wax. I had to let
Yeah.
people know that, yes, I've been through it. You know I'm funny.
Yeah.
I know that I have a lot of wit.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, but I had to let that out, because if I didn't let those kind of emotions out, or didn't let the real, you know, what really happened out,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, and I'm with YDD, you know, shout out to Yo Daddy though. We were on the track together,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, and that was for the Dinner for Two. Yeah, that was for the Dinner for Two album. So, you know, that came, you know, that came about, and it was awesome. You know, it's an awesome track, but it was very therapeutic to say it.
Are you saying that if you didn't pursue music and everything that came with that, and you went the route your family wanted you to take, you could have avoided homelessness? Was music the reason you kind of ended up in this scenario?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or am I oversimplifying it?
No. Well, I will say that, and cards dealt by peers.
Right.
You know, cards dealt by peers. You know, so the thing is mainly, and basically, you know, finding a balance.
Yeah.
Another thing for sure is, you know, like I said, don't need to join the military. I already have PTSD. You know, I've been through so much shit, pig's feet, you know, to add on. Like, you know, I've been through so much pain. I've been through that agony. I've been through the sorrow, you know, so why put myself through that? You know, you see many folks, you know, my father was military too, you know, and he came back and he wasn't the same as well. So
Right.
that really did inspire me to, continue to write those kind of tracks, or to put those, out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How does being homeless change your perception of life? Like sometimes everyone goes through trials and tribulations, some bigger than others,
Hmm.
right? But I sometimes I look at people and I'm like, they haven't really been through some shit. Like they don't see the full depth of how crazy, how difficult things can get.
Hmm.
Not that I've seen it all, but do you, what do you see? Do you think some people don't, what do you see in life that other people don't see having been homeless? What's your perception of life that you wish other people understood? Is that a good
That,
question?
yeah, that's a perfect question, Alvi. I knew you was gonna go heavy with me. Yeah, I knew you was
Right.
gonna bring the business. Well,
Yeah, man.
that it can happen to you too.
Yeah.
No one's safe from the system. No one's safe, from life experiences. Shout out to Funk, man. Shout out to Tom. And there's nothing I could do about that. But better myself. And I remember, man, doing my downest date. It was Daryl. It was Enjoy the Vision. Was the only one that was straight up there for me. That was just.
Right.
I mean, he picked me up. You know what I mean? When I was down. And I'll be forever grateful. I realize that you have to be grateful for the things that you have and not materialistic, but the people that are around you, the people who
Right.
are really going for you, the people who are really rooting for you, the people who, and another thing too, man, is be there, be there for folks. When I still go out to,
Yeah.
serve turkeys down at the Salvation Army.
Right.
Just get, you have to remind, and people want to get past that, but I like to remind myself where I came from.
Right. Are you a religious person? I know I just realized Voice Winston is, he does Christian rap. And by the way, I reposted one of his tracks. It's super hard,
Mm-hmm. Holy
Christian
Mama,
rap.
Holy Mama.
Are you religious like that, or
I definitely
what's your
believe,
take?
yeah, I definitely believe in God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be here without God, man. Like, I mean, every day, just the struggle. I remember times where I would pray for something
Right.
and it didn't come because he was testing me to see how much I wanted it.
Right.
That's God's grace right there. We need those. We need that kind of passion. I feel like we all have to go through the book of Job to really find out what life is really about. That's my thing. So,
Got it.
yes, I'm a
Got it.
very, very strong believer of God, man.
Got it, man. So I listened to a whole bunch of your catalog. This is really the cornerstone of what I do here. I take the time to listen to as much material as possible. Why? Having put out projects in the past, and I've been writing since a kid on and off, you know what I'm saying? There's evolutions to your art and your life. So this is what separates this show, I hope, from other shows. You know what I'm saying? So your early 20s stuff, I believe you sent it over. That was a Toll House Cookies and some other stuff. That's from your early 20s, right?
Yep.
Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
So catchy vibes, sing-songy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Were you recording that in a studio at that time, or was that home recording stuff?
No. That was a studio down there in San Francisco. It was actually one of the first studios I've ever played, like, professional studios that I've actually been in. Now,
Right.
it's in my thing. It's all about, just having that good vibe. And, so shout out to E, man. My boy Eric down there who produced Music and Pizza back in '08.
Right.
So shout out to him. So yeah, it was that kind of vibe. It was that kind of vibe at that time.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll fast forward to Idiot Box 1 and 2. Listening to that stuff, again, never heard anything like it. I want to talk about how you group tracks in a second and your thought process, but I thought it was funny, brutally honest. You might break out in a reggae rap, then be dead serious on the outros, shouting out your family, like all over the place. Never heard anything like it.
Thank you.
How did Idiot Box 1 come together, and when did you realize you have a sound? Because I have a hard time putting my finger on your sound, other than it has like movie themes and like kind of 80s-esque vibes. It's kind of all over the place, which I think was the point. But how did that vision come together? Let me know.
Good. When it was, I have the perfect answer for that. So my father passed away, and
Right.
I remember on the way to go to Houston for the funeral. I mean, it
Right.
took me 2 days to write the idiot box. I wrote that down. You know, I wanted to find something to overcompensate, you know, my loss, and but not in a, you know, super sad way. I knew I wanted to hide, you know, that emotion. I wanted to shade that emotion. So I was writing, you know, I was making all these stupid bars, you know, these really dumb. They're not that, they're stupid hard. You know, that's a hard ass. You know, I wrote it down. You know, I went straight to Nate. You know, we knocked it out. We knocked it out in less than, what, 30 minutes?
What in 30 minutes?
The whole idiot box.
What? Part one?
Like part one, yeah. We did the whole, like, yeah, about 30 minutes to an hour in general.
The recording process. You mean?
Yes. You know how you have,
Yeah.
you know, A, B, C, and D. You know, part B, you know, or part C would be 8 minutes long. I would rap throughout the whole 8 minutes. There's no stop with the idiot box.
Really?
As you see, yes, like when it changes channels to a different beat, there's no stop to the idiot box.
No way.
Yeah, very much true. That's why each track will be, one track will be 6 minutes long. It's never like one track alone to add on a track alone.
But how many takes did it take to get 8 minutes in one take? How many practice takes?
About 2.
Wow.
Yeah, about 2.
Wow.
No.
Got it.
Yeah, about 2.
So your memory is that good?
Yeah.
You have like a crazy memory?
I have a great memory, and that's due to what I love to do.
Right.
You know, if I'm which is being in the studio creating. I love to create, and I remember every moment of it. You know, I remember every moment of it. I had Enjoy the Vision do the photo, so you know, he did the album cover. So it was, you know, that's my interesting vibe.
How did you decide to group the songs in A, B, C, and D? For those that haven't heard, you got like 5 different beats or something like that per each section of the mixtape. That's the way it's grouped. So one track will be like 5 different beats, 6 beats. How did you guys decide to group them? Is there a method to the madness? Because I tried to figure it out, but I couldn't completely. So go ahead.
Well, we wanted to, you know, we wanted to palette, but in just really constructed in terms of synchronicities. That's what Originate is really good at. He's really good at synchronizing tracks and blending, and, you know, with sound, A1 sound. You know, where I'm at right now, studio. You know, doing my thing along. You know what I mean? It's awesome. It's awesome how he puts, you know, the blend into it. So it was just finding that kind of sound, and I leave that up to him. I do listen to I do bring out my opinion, but obviously it was successful. So, you know, I gotta go with the champ.
So So what I feel like I discovered when I hear Idiot Box, and those that haven't heard it, Idiot Box 1, it's on SoundCloud. I challenge you to listen to it, because this is where my brutal honesty comes in. You know I'm a fan, so please take it constructively, right?
As always.
I didn't think that the mixing and mastering was that great. You know what I'm saying? It felt very raw. But the talent that you bring with your train of thoughts, it's like I had to listen to it entirely. Like I just had to go through it. You know what I'm saying? It's like discovering like some underground thing in the corner of the web that's like fucking genius that you would have missed somehow. You feel what I'm saying? That's the vibe I get from it.
Yeah.
It's unlike anything you've heard. I really challenge people that haven't heard it to listen to it. But let me ask you this question. Have you ever considered remixing and remastering those things? I would love to hear them remixed and remastered. I would love to.
If I was out, I would definitely come out with the Idiot Box 3. I would have it. Yes, I would have it remixed and mastered. Like, you know, we remastered. It'll come in an all package. You get 1, 2, 3. You know, so you get a whole set. You know, if you buy the deluxe deal, You know.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll buy it.
1999.
I'll buy it. I'd buy it to support for sure.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
No, but again, if I do, it'll be only for 1999. You know what I'm saying? It'll be 1999.
We're gonna get into that too.
Uh-oh.
So part two, how much time passed and how did that come about?
Well, now what do you mean exactly?
I mean, did you release them back to back, part one and part two at this?
No, it wasn't simultaneously. Yeah, it wasn't simultaneously. It was about a year and a half later I came with the Idiot Box 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So moving along, I found a news article of yours. By the way, you live in Dallas, right? Did I get that
DFW.
right?
Yes, DFW area. I was gonna say DFW area because my location is on. Obviously, you know.
Is it Fort Worth? I think I read Fort Worth. Is that right? Did I get it right? Fort Worth.
Hold on, real quick, Albie. Hold on, Albie. I have to speak to my lawyer.
No worries.
Being on this location, on Instagram Live, I cannot announce my exact location.
Oh, okay. No worries, bro. No worries.
You know, dead rappers get better promotion.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to do whatever. You know, I'm not trying to do whatever anytime soon.
Perfect. No worries, bro. So let's take a sharp detour from that. So I read in your article that you had your rock album, which at least in the article said you did that after your father's death.
Yeah.
You had a lot of pain and angst. That was your release for that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that album and what you were thinking going into that? Because I did listen through it twice. So go ahead.
Well, in my eyes, it wasn't even about the sound and wanting to sell it. It was more about what I wanted to do. I met up with a great guitarist named John Slaughter. Right. We stood nights. We stood up nights after nights. I was playing keyboard for that bad boy. Stuff like that. Like I was playing keyboard and. We really did try to put good mix in it. Electric guitars, acoustic guitars, and the album in general. The reason why it was, I needed to come out. As much as the Idiot Box 1 and the Idiot Box 2 were, feeling, good stuff, right? Making me feel good, or funny, the ha ha ha, right? I still have to lay down at night and go through that pain. And it was very therapeutic for me to come out with that album. There was a lot of controversy about that album in terms of, should I come out with it or not? It's suicide, you know what I'm saying? It's career suicide, Right. But at that time, it was more about me wanting to come out with that kind of vibe, you know what I mean? I was dealing with a lot and I had to do it. And I'm glad I did because it helped me heal. Right.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, that's one of the best things music can do for you. So that it actually did that for you. That's awesome. When I listened to it, man, I was a little disturbed, to be honest, by the rawness of your emotion. Again, I didn't know you have ADHD. I could have guessed something like that, but it was disturbing a bit, to be honest with you. Some of the tracks. But I just couldn't put it down. Again, I give credit to your uniqueness and your talent at expressing yourself. It just, I had to listen through it. You got some standout tracks on there like Laundromat, where I think in the book you're like Vanity is one hell of a drug, which we got into Vanity earlier.
Yes.
Pig Feet and Faba Beans, you talk brutally, honestly about your breakup, I guess, with your wife. Is that right?
Good.
And then,
that was,
go ahead, sir.
No, continue. I'm just going back. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, and then you got Alone, which you're redoing the No Doubt hook, you and me together. It's obviously a song about your wife, but you do it in such a disturbing way. I'm going to be dead honest with you, I could barely make out one word you said. I would love to hear this thing remixed and remastered also, but I'm just being honest.
You're talking about Alone, huh?
Yeah. That was the last track, right? I believe.
It was the last track. Yes, it was.
Yeah. So, All fascinating stuff. Did you get signed to Sunday Dinner Records before Turnbuckle Tales?
Yes.
Can you share how that came about, if you'd like to?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, shout out Roberto, you know what I mean? Shout out T, you know what I mean? Shout out Bobby Jones, shout out Claudie, Voice's Heart, you know what I mean? Shout out to Nate again. So, anywho, again, Dom actually messaged me on Twitter,
Right.
and as much as of an enthusiastic, energetic guy I am,
Right.
I'm very introverted, naturally
Right.
introverted, so wanting to, or omnivert, I'm okay if I'm around the right energy, the right people, you know what I mean? And
I'm the same way, in that way.
and yeah, and so when I was, I read the message, and Dom was like, "Listen, man, I listened to the Idiot Box. It sounds fresh. This is different. Like this is I haven't heard anything like this, and I want to. I'm starting up this label. This is even before he named it Sunday Dinner Records. This was Mars. This was Miles Ahead Records, and he wanted me to make the Idiot Box too.
Right.
So like if you hear the intro, I said Mars forever, shouts out to Dom. I came a long way from staying at my mom's, you know what I'm saying? Like the general he just had that passion for what I'd done at that time, and I'm totally grateful for it because it showed that I want to be part of this. I can tell his passion for music and wanting to come out with natural artists, that's what. Yeah, so I definitely sign on. Yeah, let's do it.
Can you share today for those listening what joining a label, what it does for you? Like, can you enlighten maybe some other people that haven't got that far along, or that are considering it, how it helps you?
Well, there's two. You have the high executive labels you have, and then you have independent labels. Okay.
Right.
What's the rule? 180 record company people are shady.
Right.
So but then when it comes to independent labels, at least mine or the majority of my folks that I know, they are really interested in you coming out with the music you want to come out with.
Yeah.
And they should, and they help you out with that vision.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. With a high label, it's more like they create your image.
Right.
They take everything out of you and turn you into a robot. And that's for some, there's only a few that can really be themselves,
So it seems like a video like Powerbomb, they were helping you to put that type of visual together around your personality. Is that a fair statement?
That is a 100% statement. Shout out to Drew, shout out to Dom. We were sitting, we were down in a different area, of parts unknown.
Yeah.
And I'm the biggest wrestling fan,
Right.
It makes me feel like a kid again when I'm just looking at it.
Gotcha.
And I knew if I wanted to, when I come out with an album, that I wanted to give an ode out, to pro wrestling. So when we were making the music video, it was very lively. I felt the energy, and just when you hear Voice Winston's beat start, you hear those trumpets, you hear the horns just really out. It was I felt the energy in that bad boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there you go, look at my boy. Let me go. Yeah. So you know how it go. You know what I mean?
I want to give you kudos as well. But by the way, before I give you kudos, how are you doing for time? We got a bit more to go through here if you're down.
Come on.
But I want to respect your time. Are you good?
Just bring it.
Dope. And for those that don't know, I chopped this shit into a million clips to entertain your ass for the whole fucking week. So be ready to be entertained.
Yeah.
For the whole week. But yeah, I wanted to give you props because some people need their whole fucking crew in a video just to make it look lively. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You hold the attention of the camera just solo, bro, with your little twitches and just your energy, bro. It's you deserve kudos for that, bro. It's just you in that video, and I watched it 30 times in a row, literally.
yeah.
So
I see. Yeah, I seen the post. You were just like you're going off. You cut a mean promo.
yeah. So this is going to bring us nicely into Turnbuckle Tales, which I feel is a great culmination of all you've been working towards. Very, very, very well executed. I'd call it a classic album. I've been listening to it for 3 weeks. It's interesting because you said things like, and I'm really bad with remembering names, your producer right now helped you channel your energy, and I really think you took your songwriting and structure and enunciation to a new level with this album. Is that a fair statement?
Very much true. I'm telling you, I wouldn't have done that without Originate. In terms of executing the album. I worked with Dom. I worked with Enjoy the Vision. I worked with Young Link. I worked with Hillary Wolf. I worked with Voice Winston. Shout out.
Yeah.
And and I'm the type of dude who, like on one of the lines, Al Sharpton. I love my niggas. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I want to, if I have a good song and I know that it's going to be sauce, I definitely hit him up. Yo, Wig, I got this track called Stable,
Right.
I had Jayu. I said, Jayu, I got this track called, Jayu Perk. Shout out to Jayu Perk, man. That's my dog.
Right.
Shout
out.
So he came through, and it's just like, I love to collaborate. There's not a lot of features on there, as you know, but in general, it was just, I wanted to execute and synchronize just as best as I can.
You're like 5 characters in one. You don't even need a feature. Well, there's a couple on there, but yeah. Go ahead.
That's how exactly what I'm doing right now here at the studio.
Right.
Really, just putting it in, getting it in.
So we'll go through some of the highlights for me, anyways.
Sure.
I'll start with Rocky. This is a very catchy remix of Jay-Z, Feeling It. Before we get into a quote in there that I wanted to, unpack with you, how do you guys decide what to remix? Because it's interesting to me. You got Jay-Z, Feeling It. You got your Skilo remix. Who decides? How do you choose?
I'm honored to give you that answer. So with with Rocky, for example, that came from me. I shoved myself through these producers' throats. Pause. I like to, not like there's anything wrong with that, but I love to like, oh, I got this. I want you, I'll send this. It was me and Voice. It was me and Voice Winston who really constructed what kind of samples that we yearned for. He brought me that beat. He said, man, he would call me on the phone. He's like, Jig, man, I got this sauce. I got sauce for you. I play it. I heard the Skilo. I said, oh, I went bonkers. I went totally bonkers. One thing that he's very talented at is bringing that boom box, that good heavy jam to it. He has a certain sound, which I love. Like I said, he has been, he knows me since day one.
So he remade the beats. Obviously, he padded them with the sample with sounds and other elements for sure. I think I took notice of that. Obviously, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you didn't.
Go ahead. Okay, cool. So for Rocky, let's get into a quote, man, because you got your joking stuff, and by and large, to a casual listener, they would think that most of what you're rapping about is being in a state of getting pussy versus not getting pussy, and the back and forth of that. But within that, there's so much being said about life and commentary on life that I hope people are catching. So you got a line here, a certain nerd got shitted on in school, got his masculinity and lunch money took, learned to be the opposite of a crook. Is this something you'd care to unpack a little bit, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I wasn't a nerd. I wasn't a nerd. It was I seen that. I know how it was with bullying. You know, I feel like we all get bullied. I think to this day, you know what I mean. Get bullied. Everyone gets bullied.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So he knew his demise. You know, he knew what was causing him to have those problems. You know, but he still chose a different route. You know, like he knew he was getting picked on, but he chose a better route, more positive route.
Right.
So, you know, again, that song is, you know, the main line in that song, in my opinion, is on the hook is, if the shoe fits, go and buy a matching shirt. It's mine.
Right.
One of my best friends, you know, saying my boy Jers always told me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My man Artemis Bivens, you know, he always told me that. So if the shoe fits, go and buy a matching shirt, you know. So you have to, sometimes you have to look yourself in the mirror, is what Vince McMahon was saying. You know, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, this is what I have to do.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So moving along, Turning Heel, really dope vibe.
Thank you.
Like, again, when I first heard it, I took it as comical, but then it's serious underneath, man. It's and it's a jam at the same time. Like, how do you do that? Not everyone can add that much dimension to a song, bro. So, so first question I want to ask you is, why is your heart on sale for only $19.99?
Well,
how did you arrive at $19.99?
You know, well,
as the market value.
Yeah, the market exactly, because it was treated. You know, it's broken. You know, it's broken. You know what I mean? I had to sell it at regular retail price. You know, I had to sell it at regular retail price, and not only that, that's why during the song they have a lot. It has a lot of you know, it does have some you know, raunchy but very clever puns. You know, and you know, shout out to Voice for kicking that beat, because I wanted something that was funky. And with a lot of bass, but also telling the truth. So when I heard 1999, I was like, man, I gotta write this down, you know, because my broken heart's for sale for 1999. You know?
I don't know where you get the energy to compute these hooks, man. That's crazy. They're great.
Thank you. It's just being honest about myself, being honest and truthful. You know, not selling myself short.
Right.
Know? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
So I want to ask you about another line here in that song, which hit me right over the. Oh, dope! We could see you better, bro. Good job.
Yeah, I like to say, you know, we like to keep it somewhat dark in the studio, you know.
Gotcha. So you said that broke, BITCH. I know I do a lot of swearing. I gotta watch myself, but that broke bitch. Those checks are made from rubber. That motherfucker bounced. Like my dad did when stage 4 cancer been announced. Yeah. You mentioned this line. You went through a lot of pain with your dad passing. I don't think most artists can turn their dad into a casual punchline. What did it take for you to get here to be able to actually just throw it in like that so casually, man? Like, did it take a lot, or is it like it just was nothing? Like, well, it was just able to come out of you easily.
It was one of the reasons why I had a broken heart. You know, it was one of the reasons why I had a broken heart. You know, coming out with Weirdo at that time, that rock album, that was, you know, that kind of healed me. You know, it also healed me. You know, gave me healing. You know, I wouldn't have got through it without God, but that was it was a healing process. And I'm still laughing because that's a good bar. But in general, though, like, you know, you have to. Laughter is one of the greatest cures, is what your daddy though would say. You know, laughter is the best medicine. You know, that's what he says. So that's why I done it. That's why I wrote it.
Is that your way of getting over it? Not, I mean, I guess you'll never get over it, but is that your way of just coming to terms with it? Comedy? Yeah. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it definitely is.
So, moving along here, Hyenas, man. I felt, if I'm remembering, I felt like an Outcast kind of vibe to that, which I loved.
Thank you.
And I love the hook. You're like, French kissing, loving in the coop, same color French onion soup. It's just such a contrast of like, you're about to say something fly, but then you contrast it with something gutter is fucking dope. And just the way you delivered it, man. So, so I thought that was clever. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So,
yeah.
Move. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you know, You know, and if people want, because I know you didn't want to say it, but if people, you know, want to act funny, we can act hilarious. You know what I mean? Hyenas. Yeah.
Your track Hogan, you open it very humbly, very honest. I set the bar much higher than my self-esteem. Oregon Trail. By the way, Oregon Trail, I'm like, where this guy pulled out Oregon Trail? I'm like, what the fuck? Fucking old school video game. Oregon Trail, I sell the best of green. It's my pursuit of happiness that has me going through unfortunate events. Friends don't care, they live off someone else's expense. No goals, put the ball in the basket hole. Sorry, Bobby, you didn't make the JV team. Geez, I've been trying to be famous and so on. Are you talking about yourself?
Yes.
Not making the basketball team?
Yeah. Well, there was a time where I didn't make the basketball team, but I ended up making the basketball team, of course. And so at that time, feeling down about it in general and going through writing, that's why I said, man, I've been wanting to be famous since '01, you know?
Yeah.
And I would jam Eminem in my ear, you know, no pun, you know, because I didn't jam too much big pun, you know? I would wash it down with Big L. I was one of the biggest Big L fans, you know. His shoes, they fit well. Like, okay, I can get with that, you know. I can get with that kind of satire, witty rap, you know.
It's crazy how you put sometimes mediocre moments in life and failures, which I'm sure was devastating when you didn't make the team, into these comedy raps, man. I'm telling you. So, So kudos to you on that. Sacramento Screwjob. That's the Skilo remix. I thought you did a great job. You exceeded Skilo's energy. I mean, that song is classic as it is, but you definitely added something to it. Let me just think here. So, give me one second here. Yeah, and then the hook. She's finally gave up and said, I'm not thinking of you. You hate yourself. Well, it's impossible to love you. Like, again, the brutal honesty, it's hard to stop listening, man. So, yeah.
You know, again, when you are a satire artist or the Larry David of the label or, you know, the guy that everybody expects you to be funny.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they miss out on those bars. They miss out on those things. They miss out on, you know, the deep intakes that I write, you know, which is also great. That's what makes Jigsaw Paul. You have to dig deeper to fix, you know, find the puzzle.
And to be honest, I have quotes here where I can get even more gritty about some of the things you say. I just want to challenge the listeners that haven't heard Turnbuckle Tales. Go listen for yourself. As much as I'm quoting him, you're not really going to get the full effect unless you go through that album and his catalog. So I'm not even going to go through all of it. You talk about losing custody of your kids, your house, like you put it all in a satire, bro. Hats off to you for being able to do that. And then you got some super funny bars, man. Struck between a rock and a hard place I've been in. I love these chicken heads much as Tyson loves pigeons. Dames I'm draft picking. My first draft pick is the female version of Scottie Pippen. That shit was funny, bro. That was funny, man.
Yeah. Lisa Leslie height, you know.
Yeah.
I love my Amazonian women. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then the last thing I'm gonna highlight. I had this song on loop the other day. I was working Paul Ruffin. I feel like it captured. By the way, who produced that? Because that was brilliant. The way the energy met.
Shouts out to Hillary Wolf from London. You know, shout out to Hillary Wolf. Yeah, you know, gave me some sauce.
Nice. So I feel that song captures the craziness of life in America. Yeah. You know, and it has me rooting for you as like redeeming yourself in this track. I felt like I'm watching an 80s movie, the end, you know, where there's always some sort of redemption, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the way the beat and your energy goes, it's perfect, man. And then I hit it from the back when you front, bitch, you ain't nothing without Paul. No, bitch, without Paul Ruffin, you ain't nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Just that
so,
line, you know, from the back, you know, when you front, stop fronting, you know.
yeah. Potent, bro. I got it.
Very potent.
So yeah, man. So you're still okay for time? I got a few more things, and we're good. We're gonna chop this up into a million dope clips. So yeah.
Bet.
So getting it into your craft here a little more. When I listen to a rapper, I'm so crazy that I think of what's their writing process like. So first of all, I want to ask you, do you use a pen or no pen?
I use both. I use a pen, and I also use my phone as well. You know, I find different ways. I find different ways. If it comes in my mind and I know I have to write it, I'll write it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But the process, whatever comes into my brain, is very idiot savant-like.
Right.
You know, it's very idiot savant-like. I don't know how to explain it, but it works. You know, so that's all I can really explain, because you cannot explain. I don't know. It makes me feel whatever that has to come out, it comes out. But it comes out in a way that I feel like a lot of people don't. They like to keep it, you know, superficial, or have a certain subject they want to take. Yeah.
But in terms of capturing it, getting it down, do you commit it to memory, or is it a split between writing it on paper and committing it to memory, depending on how you're feeling?
It's depending on more about my feeling, because if you don't have no feeling in that pen, you know, you're writing dead.
Got it. The other thing I want to ask you was, see, for me, when I rap, you know, I try and be dynamic with my voice and stuff like that, but I only got so many levels of depth to my delivery relative to yours. Like, how do you capture the way you want to deliver each bar if you're writing it on paper? How do you remember the energy you want to step in with on each bar? Is it just automatic when you get in the booth? How do you literally capture that?
I'll tell you why. Well, it was like, no, continue.
No, I was just saying, your takes are like vocal performances, right?
Yeah.
How do you capture the energy you want in each part of the verse if you're writing it on paper? Like, how do you remember how you want to deliver it?
Yeah. Well, how do I deliver it? Well, you know, basically just I go over it. You know, I feel like it's just the best process I can go through.
Right.
You know, so it's just being honest with myself, and one could just let it all out. You just have to let it all out, and the process is really it's in my head. It's in my head. It's in my head. Just keep going.
Do you write sober, or do you like being buzzed when you write? What's ideal for you?
Well, I don't like to be, you know, on something, you know, when I'm writing.
Right.
And even if, you know, I hit a joint or something like that, it doesn't really do any effect with me. I think it's always coming from, if it comes from the heart, it comes from the soul. It doesn't matter how you're doing it. It doesn't matter how you're feeling, as long as, you know, you know what you're writing and it's legible. And it's coming from the soul, man. That's the number one goal.
Gotcha. All right, bro. So this is going to be the final. Now we're wrapping up. We're going to play a game, if you're down, called Fact or Fiction. I've made it just for you. Every interview I do is completely different for each person. When Voice Winston told me that I should be taking your bars like more seriously as fact of life experiences, it made me think, you know, when I listen to your bars, which of them are true versus a little bit adding comedy to it. So I'll start with Hogan, Turnbuckle Tales. It says, you say, takes one to know one. Well, I met Chappelle, Snoop Dogg, and KRS-One. Now I know what I must become. Like a nappy bitch's hair, get her done. My arms got misdemeanors for showing off my little guns, so I take a ton of roids knowing I need weapons, I need bigger ones. So, two things. Did you meet Chappelle, Snoop Dogg, and KRS-One?
Yes, fiction. I mean, fact.
What was that like?
I met Chappelle in San Francisco. He was going to one of his shows, and he was longboarding with his kids.
Right.
And this is during the time the Chappelle show was the hottest. So we're walking down, we're on Main Street. And, he was just, longboarding with his kids. He stopped by, oh man, like we were not too much in shock, But, he would shake your hand and he would put his hand on his heart. Yeah. And we didn't play, you're Rick James. We didn't have to pull none of that stuff. Yeah. Knowing that he's by his kids, it was just respect. So it was just being respectful. Yes, I met Chappelle,
oh, go ahead, sir.
Snoop Dogg, I rapped in front of Snoop Dogg.
Really?
Down in California, and then KRS-One, where I met in the East Coast. So I met some folks, and I just knew what I wanted to become.
That's dope. Are you taking roids? Is that fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Okay, there we go. I like this game, man. To wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. So your track Stable, Turnbuckle Tales. Okay, this is crazy. Maybe I quoted you wrong, bro. So please correct me. Mm-hmm. You said, "I'm not what you consider a father figure. My son washed my balls, fired me, and called me." I'm not gonna say it. Mm-hmm. What's comedy here, bro? Because that. If you want, you can plead the fifth.
Fiction. It was fiction.
Fiction. Okay. All right. Last one. I think this is funny, even if it's fiction.
Okay.
I like to welcome you, Idiot Box 2. You said, this is hilarious. I'm doing so well with a chunky white broad as big as a whale, her husband Shamu. She loves Drake and also the crew.
Yeah.
Is this a real person? Fact or fiction?
Fact. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Big girls think about too. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Sure.
All right. So, bro, that concludes Fact or Fiction. Thanks for being brave enough for playing this game. And my last question to you is, with all you've been through in life, your pursuit in music, all that stuff, do you have any regrets? Are you a person that lives with regrets? Or, what's your outlook on things in life? How do you get through life?
Well, the number one rule for your set in order to survive, gotta learn to live with regrets. Just living with regrets, that's Jay-Z, of course, you know what I mean? Yeah. I know Alvy. That's why
of course.
I appreciate your name. But I have a bunch of regrets. I do. I have a few.
Yeah.
I have a few.
Yeah.
I have a few. I regret, having the fact that being funny, or coming with a satire-esque, esque voice, makes people not take, they don't take me serious. That's what makes Jigsaw Paul is you do have to dig in you hear the bars, you have to dig deep. So I think that's what I regret is, the fact that when I pass, when I die, that's the only time I'm really going to be appreciated. I think that's my main regret.
That sounds like kind of a fear more than something that you could say as a fact.
Oh well,
right?
Then here's the regret. Right. It's like playing a character in a movie that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Hey, come on now, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, say get in the chopper, say all.
Right.
You get the regret is people laughing at me or are they laughing with you? And and so again, I think that's the regret. The regretfulness is the fact of, I have to, there's no choice, so and once you're in, you're out. I don't regret that. But I do regret, that's it. Mm-hmm.
But anyways, to end it on a constructive note, man, your artistry is fire. It's intriguing. I never heard anything like it. Again, I consider myself a connoisseur. I mean, 34 years of fucking listening to rap. You know what I'm saying? Never heard anything like it. I hope you surround yourself with the people that are going to make you explode and you go make millions together, because I believe you have that type of artistry that you can do that.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed this, bro. And thank you for sharing your life and your art with me. It's not easy to do. I say that firsthand as someone that's opened the Pandora's box to rap music.
Yeah.
And that's it, man, from my end. So.
Well, Al, when we first met, I was like, man, you gotta interview me. I was like, you gotta interview me. Right. You already hit me with these hard questions. I said, what? He said, you got any classics? I said, oh Lord, what? I had to send you. I had to send you them. I had to send music, and just watching some of your interviews. You did a great job, really bringing out the artist, and also figuring them out, and just bringing that kind of passion. And so I yearned to be on your show. I'm grateful to be on your show.
I appreciate that, man, and thank you for pushing that agenda. I'm very happy you did. It's a two-way street, you know what I'm saying? And I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed it. Looks like they did. I don't think I've ever had this many people staying at one time in the chat consistently. So it's a testament to your life and your art. So thank you, bro, and we'll stay in touch, and have a good night, everyone.
All right, y'all. Y'all already know. All.
Peace.